Hey everybody, Ryan Chichak here. Today I wanted to talk about Unity Catalog's Iceberg Rest Catalog and how simple it is to read and write from an external source like EMR's Trino. If I show what this looks like, this is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about the Iceberg support that was added back in June to Unity Catalog. Now, I've done something like this similar before with EMR Spark, but I thought since I'm getting a lot of requests for doing this for Trino that I would do it with Trino as well. I just ran a Terraform script that I have publicly available that you can download yourself. And it's really simple to fill this out. There's just a few things. You have to have your EMR or AWS CLI installed, and then you have to input some of your user credentials. And then from your Terraform that you'll download here, you just have to fill this out with your Databricks information. And once you have this configured and you have your service principal and you have your client ID and your secret key, you have all those things specified, you're going to generate, you're going to basically just run one script. It's that simple just to create. And I just created this environment a second ago. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a Databricks workspace. And then it's also going to create an EMR workspace. And you can see here, I spun this up just a moment ago. And then I spun up also the EMR cluster as well. And this is running too. And this is Trino on version 4.6.7 and also Databricks. This is the first time I'm coming into this environment. And I want you to just see that. This is the very first time. I don't have any query history. Again, this is all new. And then the same thing with EMR. This is all brand new. What I want to do to show the simplicity of Trino using the Iceberg Rest Catalog inside of Unity Catalog, I'm going to basically connect into EMR's Trino primary node. And this is the coordinator node that you'd refer to this inside of Trino. If I come in here and I copy, this is again, I'm coming in for the first time, and I'm going to connect to the coordinator node, which is, again, myself. This is the local host. And then we're connected to Trino, and it's that simple. All you have to do is use the connection string to connect into Trino and then create a table inside of Unity Catalog, which is going to create a managed Unity Catalog table. Now, if we go again into Databricks, we're going to see inside of the catalog, here is my catalog. There are no tables. And this is because again, everything is brand new that just spun up. I just spun up a serverless warehouse, which is now running. And I'm going to create a test table under my default schema in Databricks. And I'm going to do that inside of Trino. I'm going to do default test, and then you can see simple ID name. And then we're doing this format Parquet, but the catalog itself is Iceberg. This is going to fail. And the reason this fails is because it's not authorized to make this request. What that means is if a cluster is brand new, you have to turn on the external data access. Once we flip this and run this again, this is going to be successful. There's no way in Terraform yet to enable that by default, and that's why it failed the first time being a new environment. You can see this table is just created. The default test, if we go back into catalog and I go back under default and refresh, you can see test exists. And if I click on test, you can see that it is indeed a managed Iceberg table. And keep in mind, this is being created from Trino's client. And if I want to do a select statement, there's not going to be any data because this is a brand new table. And then what we'll do is we'll insert some data, 0 rows. So insert into default test values, and let's create a couple rows, Ryan. And then let's do one more row, Nicole. And then that is going to insert via Trino into that manage iceberg table. Give that a couple seconds. And then if we do the select statement again, we're going to have those 2 rows. And then on the flip side, if we go into Databricks and we go into the SQL editor using the serverless warehouse that's already running, I can come in here, selecting from the catalog, default test. And then this is going to output those 2 rows as well. And then taking this a step further, if we do another create statement, create table, but then since I don't have the catalog and schema specified, let's do people, ID int, name string using iceberg. And this is basically showing that within Databricks, I can also run a create table statement. On the flip side, I'll be able to insert data, select data inside of Trino as well. Because again, we're using the same Iceberg Rest Catalog. And let's here do an insert into default people. And let's just insert one row and we'll call it Nigel. Values. And then this is going to do an insert into this table. And that is complete. And then if I do a select star from, and then I just do the people and run this query, this is going to get the one record we just inserted on the Trino side. And you can see it's as I said in the beginning, it's really, really simple to connect an EMR, Trino, or Spark, or whatever the external engine is into Unity Catalog's Iceberg Rest Catalog. And again, this has been out since June, and it couldn't be any simpler to run as I just did it. And if you yourself want to run this, feel free to go into GitHub and just configure this and run that script. And on the flip side, when you want to remove this environment, all you have to do instead of create is just say delete. And then that will delete all of the resources that's spun up inside of Databricks and EMR. Great to meet with you today, everybody. Have a great day. Until next time.